Live streaming is on.
I'm just making sure I added in everything from the communications thread as far as additional agenda points. Just checking that real quick. Okay, I think I got it. Hi, Magenta. Okay. Well, I know that Ashley and Danny are joining as well, but I think that we can go ahead and get started. So I will lead us in our centering to begin. So if everyone just would like to focus their consciousness with me, we can bring our eyes to a close. Okay, I see that Ashley has joined, so I imagine Danny's there with her as well. I'm going to do a little centering. Begin to find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting or standing or laying. Close your eyes and begin to turn your gaze inward. I encourage you to do some long, deep breathing, whether that's in and out through your mouth or you're letting an audible sigh out through your mouth on the exhale, whatever feels most comfortable to you. We'll just stay here for a moment. I'd like to read a not so famous inspirational quote today from my most favorite teacher, Ram Dass, that we can contemplate on while we're breathing. Pain is in the mind. It's the thoughts of the mind. Then I get rid of the thoughts and I get in my witness, which is down in my spiritual heart. The witness that witnesses being. Then those particular thoughts that are painful, love them. I love them to death. Ram Dass. Maybe just another one or two big inhales and exhales, breathing that wisdom in. Loving all of our thoughts, including the painful ones. And now you can begin to bring your awareness back to the physical space that you're in, maybe touching the floor, finding some movement in your body. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes and begin to meet the others here in virtual space. And I will move us into check-ins. Just can be a word, can be a phrase, can take a full share up to a minute. Just what's alive for you right now. And if there's anything that you need to name in order to be more present with us here and now, this is an opportunity to do that. So once you have gone, please pass the mic to someone else to go first. I'm not hearing anyone, so I can go. I am feeling calm. I'm feeling grounded. I'm feeling focused today. I'm super grateful for a clear day that's not raining. I will pass the mic to Ashley.
Hi guys. I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling kind of sluggish, but still good. And yeah, it's been a really nice day. Yeah. I'll pass it to Mitch.
I'm feeling very scrambled today. I've tried to do some things and almost nothing's worked. So just kind of when your brain turns into scrambled eggs, that's how I've been all day. So it happens. I'll give it to Magenta.
I'm feeling pretty good. Having good clarity and spaciousness. Yeah, things feeling in the right place. I'll pass to Lauren.
Hi, I'm feeling good. It was interesting to do the centering because like I've been like really crunching through a lot of things today and feeling like really productive, and then like in the centering it was like, oh, closing my eyes. And that was cool. It was like this like whole space of like, wow, I could feel like all the movement in my brain and all this like activity and all these like connections, and how good it is also then to like ground in that, and how like I can get excited with all of this movement and then continue on with that and then end up like really scrambled. So it was like really nice, like, oh, I'm feeling good and productive, but it's also a good reminder to like not get too excited and run with that too much, but also take a second and be like, oh, I'm here. So thanks, Forrest, and I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you. Awesome. So I had posted in the Discord comms channel earlier to see if there was anything else that we want to add to the agenda, which I believe I've incorporated everything. Computer's running a tad bit slow at the moment. I'm going to do my best to take some good notes. So just to kind of review, give you the overview of the agenda today, we'll go through like a status update of the various things that everyone's working on. Then Danny, Magenta, and myself just had a nice meeting about Bloom Network and also like how we can be a little bit more strategic in different areas. So bringing a little bit of that conversation to the group here. And then digging into, the latest and greatest on the Calling All Changemakers campaign and any actions that might come out of that. Okay, is there anything else that anyone would like to add? Can ping a link to the agenda in the group chat. Obviously, it's always in the comms folder under meeting notes. And I see Danny just joined. Hi, Danny. I'm not sure if you heard everyone else's check-ins, but we did a centering and then a check-in. If there's anything that you'd like to share in this space before we dig in, now is an opportunity.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm sorry I missed the centering, but I'm now high centered up at Ashley's house and coming off of a great chat with Magenta and feeling charged and ready for this call.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny. Okay, beautiful. So at the top of the status updates here, okay, I think copy link, done. I think I posted it in the chat. Did I? Maybe I got some of the scrambled eggs from Mitch. Yes, I did. Okay, cool. All right, so Ashley, on the Typeform feedback for the Giveth website, I know you've made some badass Typeform for project verification. And I looked in this GitHub issue. Looks like there's some conversation going as of like 3 days ago. Would you like to give the latest and greatest status update on that?
I did make the type form. I'm looking at the issue right now. Oh yeah. So this is the ongoing. We made an epic for this, so I put it in this epic of how we're going to define. We need to have a conversation around how we're going to choose to collect the feedback and categorize it. And Kai, there's a couple issues in this epic, and Kai and I were talking about, I don't know if we're going to have like a separate call to make a decision or whether that's something we can do in the governance meeting, but he said he was hoping that Willie could be present because Willie is still kind of the product owner. So there was just like, we just need to have more discussion and choose a way because there's so many options for us to go. So I guess that's where the status of that is.
And choose a way for what?
Like, are we going to use the support chat bot for support, like how the form is going to work? Are we going to use a form? Is it going to go into a Discord channel, or is it going to trigger issues, or like what the flow is?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, word. Perfect. And then the fiat integration. Have you heard anything from his on like Transact? Is that moving forward?
Yeah, they talked about it in the dev call. I think that they chose to go with Transact and see how that flows. And so I think they're working on integrating it. I'm not really sure if they've started integrating it or not yet, but it was talked about in the dev call and we were approved. So
Awesome. Great news. Okay, so then that brings us to website flow. We've got a couple sub-bullets here, but first off, Lauren, I believe last comms call, we all kind of did a little strategy brainstorm on what we could do with that Giveth.io homepage banner space. And then you were going to bring that info back to Marco. How is that going?
Oh, about the banner. You asked me about the banner.
Yeah, on the homepage, like
Yeah.
the ideas that we shared with him, did he like that, resonate with anything in particular? And is he doing like mock-ups?
Yeah, well, I talked to Marco about our ideas like for the banner and like having like, you know, everything we talked about last week, like having like different projects featured or like having like website things featured, et cetera, et cetera. And I like told him our ideas and he was like, yay, great. and then I talked to him also about like regarding like redesign. We talked about like the flow for givebacks and like how when we have like project verification, how that will be displayed on the website. But I didn't speak to him at all about the join our community thing. I don't think I took ownership of that task last time we talked about it, but I talked to Danny yesterday and I can do that.
This isn't necessarily like, these aren't necessarily all to you. I just put website flow and then these are the different topics under website.
Cool. Well, I did talk to him about the banner thing and I talked to him about the website flow for like give back stuff. And we like had a little brainstorming hack session. And then he was going to like make some mock-ups. It was like pretty productive, but yeah, I don't have anything like specific to report or to add.
Okay. And you don't have an idea of like when he's planning to share mock-ups?
Well, I think like with the give back stuff, it's going to be after like give backs launches. And then with the banner integration stuff, again, it would still be like several weeks. Cause when I talked to him before about it, he was like, oh, this isn't something we can implement like in the sprint. We have a lot of like kind of cleaning up things to do. So I think, he hasn't created exactly a design for it and it hasn't been passed any devs yet.
Okay. You mean after the Give token launches?
Yeah, after the Give token launches is when all the give back stuff on the website will appear. So that's still like, we talked like 3 months, right?
Yeah, but we would need to see mock-ups before then.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. And then, yeah, I've tried my best. Marco and I have like kind of been messaging. Mostly I just ask him a bunch of questions and he doesn't really respond, but he started responding to me like yesterday and just said like, I appreciate the nudges, keep them coming. So yeah, I don't really have like, I'm not sure if you and him have also talked about like the location on the website and flow of like the tabs and the sub tabs and like the bottom of homepage reference links. That was kind of what I was trying to get his input on, but I haven't been successful. So I don't know if you want to mention it to him, Lauren.
Yeah, totally. I will. I didn't talk to him about this yet. I only talked to Danny about it yesterday. Danny was like voicing her desire to have it happen. And I was like, I can take more ownership of that and make it happen. So now there's a new GitHub issue.
Is that what you meant when you said join our community makeover?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. And then I saw your agenda point, which I just dropped in this section as well, on sharing of site metrics. I have some ideas in my mind, but I'm curious if you want to share what you mean by that.
Oh, well, at some point, someone posted a GitHub issue about like these awesome site metrics we have of like the amount donated and like the number of projects that were added and the number of donors and like these cool things. And then I was thinking it would be maybe something cool that we could like blast out like with what's happened, or we could kind of make it like a regular thing, or we could kind of decide on like what sounds like a good time to share things. It's like in the last 2 weeks, we got this many new donors or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Where do we find that information? I think like what's cool is for us to track that. And maybe it's something we even talk about like, okay, week over week, like there's just a brief part of the agenda where we kind of like share, like take a look at the metrics. But I know like as far as like with Give Token, as we're like doing all these different mathematical calculations and stuff, and like one thing Willie wanted to see was like when we hit like $1 million fund, like a total like fundraised across like the various projects or something on our Giveth applications, and like that was like a really cool benchmark and something that we want to share. So maybe it's not necessarily like periodic that we're like sharing it every 2 weeks in the What's Happening post, but when there's something really special that like, because we're looking at it internally and we say like, oh, this is really cool and something that's noteworthy to share, like that's when we're making the decision to do that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It'd be cool to use some of that information in the banner too, like the different slides.
Totally.
Maybe there's a slide that has.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. So wait, did anyone know where we got this information? I think Forrest was asking the question. Does anyone actually know, like, if there's like an easy place to pull this from? Do we have to ask?
James pulled it from the GraphQL, so like from the database. You can query it, like if you go in and you can. I mean, you can pull a lot of data from the database. You just have to know how to type the information in.
The problem right now is that we're not getting dollar amounts from XDAI. So everything has a USD value, all the donations that are being made on mainnet, but we don't have any price info for like if somebody donates honey or anything like that. But there's an issue for it, so they know it, and I guess they're working on it.
And in the meantime, we could talk about number of donations and like number of donors, or like we don't have to necessarily say always the value until it's worked out.
Yeah.
I personally think that'd be helpful to see in the What's Happening. I'm thinking of like how Gitcoin does it. I don't know how often they kind of publicly say or share with us, you know, a smaller number of people who are really paying attention to that ecosystem of what their metrics are, but they do share that information.
Yeah, cool. I'll see what metrics. I'll see how to get the metrics. Ashley's like, you just type some things in a place. I'm like, okay.
I know. I'm like, what's the graphic database? That sounds cool.
So I'll ask James to get the numbers, or I'll ask Ashley to show me her magic that she knows, and then like come up with like a
post a link to where you would pull the data, but I don't know what you would type in to get the data that you want.
Oh yeah, that's a good first step, and then I'll bug whoever I need to bug to figure it out.
Amazing.
Thanks, Ashley.
Sharing of
Try
metrics.
that.
Oh, Mitch got it. Ashley, between the
But, like,
team of us, we got this.
You'll have to like
Basically
it
a
just shows it shows all the each individual donation and then whatever information. But then if you just wanted to get like the total, they'd probably have to write a function to like put it all together.
Okay,
But it's there, like you can look at it.
that's really cool. Cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
play with it. Thanks, guys.
It's super easy, yeah. It's real fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
So let me just put this here.
Wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it like auto fills a lot of it too. So
Ooh, just found new treasures.
Okay, cool. Sharing of site metrics. All right, so that feels it for the website flow, unless anyone has any other things that they've noticed about the website that they would like to bring to the group, or
Oh, I have
Yeah,
actually something as well, which is like a question. I mean, there was a discussion, I don't know if you guys have heard this or know more than me, that we were going to actually maybe change the create a project flow. Yeah, so I'm working on these how-to videos, and I was going to do screen records of like creating a project and stuff. I'm working on the donation one first, but like that would totally change the content of the video. And I don't know if anyone has any more information about like how we might change it, or if it's actually going to happen, or if it's just this
I
rumor
thought-
that I have in my brain.
we were all on a call with Marco and we were talking about all this stuff.
Right.
I think this happened like maybe a week or so ago.
And what did we decide? I think I was in a call too. I just like too many things.
I would see if he's already started mock-ups for it,
Okay, I'm gonna bug Marco. Thanks.
because it would be a shame if you did the video and then everything changed.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm also just gonna check out the GitHub board and see if I can find the issue about it. Cool. Thanks.
okay, cool. So that also takes care of the how-to videos update. I just put that it's blocked by the pending project flow change, and we will stay tuned unless there's anything else that you'd like to share on around the how-to videos, Lauren.
I can just give you another quick update. I can just give you an update about it. I mean, I wrote the script for the donation flow one, and Danny took a look at it, and I think it's pretty fine. So I was just gonna do it using the like Magenta shared some links, and then I downloaded this like OBS software, and then I'm gonna figure it out. But that's where it is right now. And Marco is gonna create also like a design mock-up for like a opening and a closing slide. So just a quick update, and then it'll be cute.
Oh, cool.
And then actually, Danny, I haven't heard your voice much, but I think you're here and listening. You volunteered on one of the GitHub issues that you want to take like you wanted to take on the create a project one, which is blocked right now. But did you still want to do that? Because yeah, I don't know. We should sync up. I commented on the issue a while ago, but I didn't hear anything.
Sure. You just have to remind me what it is. Sorry.
So we're making how-to videos to make Giveth more user-friendly to people who aren't familiar with it and who aren't familiar to crypto. So we're going to do like how to create a project, and like you have to create a wallet, and you could do it like this, and like the parts of it. So I made the video script for the donation flow, and I was going to make one for the create a project flow, but you commented on the GitHub issue saying that you'd like to take it on, and I was wondering if that's still something you want to take on, or if you want to work together, or if you want me to just do it.
No, I would definitely like to work together because I wrote up a little quick 5-pointer already on what are the key elements of a good project description. And so I want to make sure that that's in there.
Okay, great, awesome.
I also love your voice. You are much simpler than me. I tend to be a little dry. So let's work together.
Okay, sounds great, Janie. Thanks.
Awesome. Nice. Work on the how-to videos. Thank you. And then we'll just jump back up one bullet to autopilot. Last time there was a lot of awesome progress, like Mitch shot some things. Ashley raised her hand at like wanting to collab and support with outreach using autopilot. So yeah, just curious if there's any latest and greatest updates on that tool over the last week.
It turns out to be, well, me and Ashley went through and we updated all the contacts, and then those are good. And then I sent out the changemaker blast with all those contacts. They should be updating automatically now. They weren't before. They weren't getting anything except for the email when people were making or interacting with Segment at all. So right now we made a bunch of changes in the development side, and then it went out to staging, and so I'm testing it now to see if the emails are working correctly, and still have to do some more fixing. So 2 of them are working. Just donation received is being funny.
And the one that was funny, you said, is people that have received donations?
Yeah, like it's taking the same email address from the person that made donation and putting it into the donation received autopilot event. So then when you make a donation, you're getting 2 emails, one saying you made a donation and one saying you received a donation. You know, which it should be, you should be sending one to the project owner and one to the donor. Instead, the donor is getting both emails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for outlining that. And I love that you're going through this cycle of like, okay, development, staging, testing, and then making the blast. That feels really thorough. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to share on autopilot or segment?
Oh yeah, Lauren put up a good issue about changing the flows. And so I'm not really sure what's possible with this. It just gets a little bit more complicated with some of the suggestions. But if anybody wants to look at it besides Lauren and give any feedback, just about like the emails, like if they look good, because I just kind of like, I don't really just kind of threw something together just to show us what it could do. And then I started actually tidying them up a little bit. But if anyone wants to propose new emails or go in there and play around with it, like, you know, go ahead. And so right now the proposed email flow for when our project gets created, I don't know if you guys had a look at the GitHub issue, is after 2 weeks, we checked if they make a project update. If they haven't made a project update, we send them an email. If they have made an update, we wait another 2 months, 3 months, and then we send them another email. Then we wait another 6 months, then we send them another email, and each one is checking up on them to make sure that they're updating the project. And then after 9 months, then they get ejected. So.
Yeah, Mitch, do you have the ability to send me like a Giveth account autopilot invite to my email?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You should have it, but I also put my email in on the agenda under this.
Oh, you have an account.
Okay, yeah, I thought that Willie sent us all invites, and then I tried to go, and it was like, oh, you don't have an account. There's nothing associated. So I don't know what's up
Oh.
with that.
No, you're here. I can see you.
Okay, I'll
Hey,
try
Forest
again.
Soleil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you should be there.
Okay, I will investigate. Okay, and then that issue that Lauren rose about changing the email flows, is that a GitHub issue with a number that we can reference and make comments in, or was that just on like Discord?
No, it has a issue. No, and I can get it for you.
Cool. Okay, yeah, if you just want to ping it in the chat, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Okay, so then, yeah, the next update is Lauren with the What's Dappening posts. If you have any updates there, I know you mentioned one of the bullets for the agenda you put in was sharing of the job listing in the What's Dappening post.
Oh yeah, it's just because you asked me in the comms channel the other day if I think it's a good idea, and I was like, yeah, I think it's a good idea to share in the What's Happening, but I don't know. I just wanted to like raise it here and ask if anybody like feels strongly opposed to like us including it as at like the end of the post being like, by the way, if you want to join our team for realsies, you could apply to be a Solidity dev and like just send a link. Yeah, so just wanted to know, is anyone opposed to that happening? Okay, great. Cool. So then, yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. And then otherwise, like, I wrote the last one and we still have to wait till the end of the sprint for the next one, and I'll put the metrics in it.
Awesome. Thanks for the update. Now I know what's happened. And then I just included here Mitch and then like Magenta transitioning to Lauren. Mitch to give any updates on how it's going managing the Reddit account, and yeah, like what kind of engagement you're seeing, and how you're just feeling about that in general.
Sorry, were you talking to Lauren or me?
I was talking to you, and then we'll talk to Lauren.
Oh, okay.
About
Sorry,
Twitter.
I heard about Twitter, and then I was like confused. You're talking about the change maker?
Nope, not specifically
Reddit management.
about ChangeMaker, just like managing Reddit in general and like how you feel that's going.
Yeah,
and...
I've got it here. I mean, it's going all right. Like, I can keep putting stuff up to our Giveth, but I'm hitting a lot of walls with just like sharing content. I got permanently banned from our charity, so that was cool. Yeah, just like trying to send personal messages to people, and then they were like, "Get out of here." So yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's pretty tough. Like, it's like at least like keeping our Giveth subreddit updated is fine, but I might have to rethink the strategy for promoting stuff on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I get too, is I feel like I'm like selling something to somebody, or they assume that I'm trying to like sell something to them, or, you know, and then they're just kind of like, it's like they read the first little bit and then they're just like, nope, probably don't even finish reading it. So I've been trying to like strategize how I approach people as well.
The thing I find helpful for that, and this is related to the Twitter too, but just across the board, talking to people like you would talk to them in reality, it tends to be more effective often, and to for someone to engage with you and engage with what you share. I don't know how to break it down any more than that, but I noticed when I started doing a lot of social media posting, I don't even know when I started really, but I noticed that at first my tendency was to use a marketing voice of like what I thought that was, or like what we hear in advertisements and stuff. But I think the like values alignment of the kind of stuff we're doing responds more to authenticity. And part of that is communicating to a person or a community in almost like an inviting first way rather than a push way. And yeah, I don't yet know how to articulate anything more specific than that, what it's like. But I think you start to get a feel for it of what people respond to. And maybe also the other side of that push versus pull kind of dynamic is like offering people something that is of interest to their interests. So like thinking through, if you're in a specific person's channel, for example, you think about, okay, what does this community care about? And then I'll choose words that are like their keywords kind of. I practice this more when I'm doing like direct communication emails to partners or like trying to curate people for events is like what I'm more familiar with. But I'll try to speak to what they care about first. And like, of course I want to do that. So that takes some like, I don't know, sustained effort of getting to know if you're consistently posting in a specific group or something. But then the other, like another approach would be, so there's like, we have this campaign, or, you know, here's an example of a project that's of that related interest, or here's this inspiring thing, or, you know, just, it's like the languaging thing. So and sometimes a lot of memes can be overbearing too. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to be like quieter almost as an introduction. I don't know, maybe I'll think through this stuff and like try to kind of write it out a little bit, because it really took me quite a long time to like get in good grooves with it with different contexts, and it's like very context specific. So I'll try to put some energy into that over the next over the weekend here.
Yeah, one of the things I would also add to that is it's really, really good to get the post up, like to have the Medium post, to have the Giveth tweet, whatever it is. But then it's actually way more powerful if we share a lot from our personal voice. Like that's one of the things I really like to do is once the Medium post is up, then from my own channels, my platform, I speak to it in my own voice much more by sharing, hey, this is something I'm really excited about.
Thanks, Danny and Magenta. That's like all super helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love more input on this stuff, like especially in the context that we're trying to do right now with this change maker thing. Like if there's some way you guys can propose a better way to do it, or like give some more direct advice, that'd be great. Cause I'm just kind of like trying stuff on my own and, you know, it's not working so far. So.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've all found has been super successful, like with the launch, is once the post or the Medium or whatever it is goes up, if we all jump in together and talk about it, it generates like energy back and forth off of each other. So maybe that's something we can work towards, just to support each other in that process, to have like the sharing party. Hey, this is during this community call or communications call, we just had these things come out. So let's all share them across our own channels and each other's.
I think there's also a difference between when you're speaking from a brand account and when you're speaking as your own person, like, you know, what the person who's reading that is seeing. I find that to be a different voice. I also find that really challenging though, to kind of guess, okay, what is the brand? How do I speak as this? Like what's usually in the case of Giveth and Bloom Network, like actually a very diverse community of people. Giveth is actually a little bit easier for that. I think maybe it'd help everyone to read through a little bit the guidelines that Chris made for the Twitter. I put them in the notes here in the comms call. It says under like style and cadence and reach. There's some tips there too that I think apply to all of the communications we're talking about right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I want to say we have a best practices document somewhere in the communications folder, and if I find it, I will incorporate this or just create another doc where this is easily referenced for like creating social posts and managing our social channels. Yeah, this is really great stuff, Magenta. Thank you. Lauren, I'm curious if I'm thinking that you have gotten all the Twitter login credentials at this point, and yeah, just curious how that transition has gone and if you have started doing a little bit of Twitter management or like Magenta, if there's anything that you want to share otherwise on this bullet.
Well, I have all the login credentials, and then Magenta just shared this like in the notes that I was just reading in this meeting. I only posted one tweet like on Monday from the Giveth account, which is pretty simple, and I'm going to tweet about the Solidity Dab thing, and I can start taking it over more, but like I haven't taken on like full ownership and been like, yeah, now I am the voice of the Giveth Twitter, you know, because like this is the first time I'm reading this, like what is the voice of the Giveth Twitter, like right now is the first time we're in this meeting, you know, so but yeah, I'm almost empowered.
Yeah, and I'm there with you. I do go through, I look at the notifications a couple times a week on Twitter. I look for who's mentioned Giveth and follow them back, and I occasionally reshare something if there hasn't been a new tweet up that day.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here with me, Danny.
Oh, one of the other things to take note of that should be in these notes too is that I think a decent amount of our audience is in Europe. So I know that when I just started doing it, they requested that I post more toward the morning, like 10 or 11 Eastern time. Around there tends to get more reads. I've noticed a couple of times I've posted in the evening and nearly no one saw the post.
So 10 a.m. on what time zone?
She said Eastern.
I think Eastern. I'm trying to remember, just so it's not like super late Europe time. 11 a.m. Eastern, I think, tends to be pretty good, if I remember right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's great to know. Yeah, I actually do a lot of like circling and authentic relating with people in Europe, and usually my call, like on Costa Rica time, it's like between 7 a.m. and like 11 a.m. or when, like if we have calls, they're usually starting around then, and I think for them it's like in the late afternoon. It's like kind of like a 5 to 7 hour difference depending on where they are in Europe.
One of the other things I'm remembering to share about the Twitter is I kind of keep in mind kind of sequencing what types of posts I share. So I try to shuffle it up between, if we have a campaign, I don't necessarily post only about that campaign every day. If we don't have a campaign on, I'll do like more partner posts and reposts. But overall, I try to do kind of a balance of, the current campaign, partner posts, highlighting projects, and a post that would speak specifically to donors. So I keep in mind like a balanced flow of who we're trying to reach and why, and what all we're trying to communicate, so that I'm not like neglecting one important part of what our community should be informed about or invited to, and that kind of thing. And I think another, like, a subtle part of it is like the generosity of sharing insights, I think tends to be like fruitful in marketing. So like I find that particularly effective in like personal, like marketing from my personal account. But also as a brand account, like articles that are informational that help the community learn what you know they might be wanting to learn. So maybe if you notice someone else has recently posted a really good how-to guide on how to use MetMask or Taurus for the first time, like that would be an example of something that I might tweet out. So that spirit of generosity is a good like key phrase to think of in how to voice your communications.
Awesome. Yeah, those are some great recommendations. Thank you, Magenta. I've tracked that in our meeting notes. Anything else that we want to share on Twitter or social media management in general?
I'm happy to jump off of doing that as soon as possible. So I don't know if you want to work together with me on that for Lauren for a little while, or you want to just jump straight in and just ask me questions whenever you want to. Do you have a sense of what would be good for you?
Well, I don't know. It would be kind of cool to work together with you for a while, but I could also like just jump in and like hack my way through the weeds. Like I'm happy doing either one. I feel like you have a lot of experience. I feel like I have like punchy confidence. So like I could go in with punchy confidence and not much experience, or I could like really learn from you like more slowly. But I'm open to either one, and I think both would be fun. So whatever you feel like.
Well, why don't we combine our powers a little bit? Like let's try it out for a week and see how that's going, and maybe you feel fine flying then, because I probably learn from you too. So it's probably a good combo.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds great.
Okay, awesome. I'm feeling like we'll come back to the planning out campaign cycles and go right into the calling all changemakers campaign section because, yeah, I sensed that was something Mitch really wants to talk about, and I think it's important too, being that we're in the midst of it. So, yeah, let's dig in here. Have we received any submissions? And then that will inform like when we do the first roundup post to promote those rolling submissions.
I can say from the emails that have gone out and from the Reddit side, we haven't received any submissions. So we have to up our game, think of something else, try and reach out to a larger audience, something, because like it's just not moving.
We have one submission on our Twitter.
You got a submission on Twitter?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm just looking now. I can send you the information. It's just like she just tweeted about it. Like she just tweeted about her project and she shared the Giveth project post and like all our hashtags. So all our hashtags.
Awesome. Did she create a project on Giveth, or it was someone that already had one?
I think she created a project on Giveth. This woman actually reached out to me because I spammed our general channel in Giveth, and so she like responded to my thing, and she's like, "Oh, this is my Twitter," and I'm like, "Oh, totally do this thing," and so anyway, I'm just noticing it's on her Twitter.
That's awesome.
Yay!
Which one is it?
Sage to Saddle.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Healthier activities. She seemed to be like interested in like holistic health solutions. Healthier activities and solutions for Pine Ridge Reservation Youth Academy to prevent suicide rates 4 times national average on America's native lands.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
I just really want to like say, I think that we can get more submissions, but I also want to say, like, wow, if even we just got one really awesome new project on Giveth, that feels like a win. And it seems like someone who's maybe like more engaged with us now than they were before, and she went through all the steps. So I think that's really cool. But yes, I definitely feel like we can get some more submissions. So maybe we can talk about what we can do to encourage more submissions. I repasted the things that we had talked about last time here, and like some new ones that I've added. Danny and Magenta and I were on a call before this and mentioned like Bloom Network sending in a submission so that then we can also feature them in our roundup and help Bloom to fundraise. And if we haven't already, also like Ashley, for you and I with the project verification stuff, like we should definitely invite Bloom Network to apply for project verification. So yeah, get all that going. But yeah, and then
also have the link to the form. So I sent the email in whenever we received the form, but they were on the list for sure. So they got
the most recent list. Cool.
Even for like the change maker thing, I think if some of us were to add some of our projects, like I've been wanting to add
when Danny mentioned like having.
Can you guys tell me, is anybody else having trouble hearting projects, or is it just me? Because I have been trying to go through them this morning and I can't get the hearts to work. Has anyone liked a project recently?
I haven't not, but I can try.
I think it's a really important thing for us to do and talk about is just like we're paying attention to which projects to flag, looking for which ones to heart and encourage these folks to engage more. I'm just not, I think I'm about to make an issue because I can't get the hearts to work right now.
Let me see. Yeah, it's not working for me either on my phone.
I'm signed in. Yeah, I just like switched networks and tried again, and it's still not working for me. Okay, thanks.
Yep. So we could do like we've done for the launch of other campaigns where, you know, we have like 30 minutes or an hour or something, and we're doing a hack session where we're, you know, going in our personal channels and sharing and liking and whatever on our personal social media to get the word out. What are some other things that we could maybe do to encourage more submissions? We had this GitHub issue about where we were going to promote the Changemaker campaign, and I feel like we didn't distribute to as many groups as we probably could have. So I think we could maybe pick up increase the throttle on spreading the word of mouth in like our local Costa Rica group chats, and also, just like the other more like personalized forms of communication, like Telegram and Discord, and like putting the conversation in those places.
Are we trying right now are we still trying to just get up projects posted and kind of test how they're posted, or are we looking for like very like legit projects that are going to get donations?
So right now we're talking about the Calling All Changemakers campaign that we launched like a week ago. We posted a Medium blog article with like the rules of how people submit, and then we've been sharing it on like Twitter and Reddit and in some groups. So yeah, the idea of the campaign is for people to actually add their project to Giveth, and then to share it can be in a variety of mediums, whether it's like a video or just like a Twitter thread or a blog post or something and putting a link to it of like what their campaign's all about and what their like purpose and mission is, and then sharing with their hashtag. So it's a way to like promote, projects that are doing good in the world and like get the word out there more and help them to fundraise by adding them to our platform. And also people that are already on the platform can apply as well.
Okay,
There's a link to the whole thing I just put in the chat.
perfect. Thank you.
So that started about a week and a half ago, and it'll be going until the 12th of May.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Cool. And I'm seeing in the chat, Anne Connolly might do a submission for her project Trust Up. And then Permaculture Action Network would probably be happy to do a submission. So sending them a direct invite on Twitter would probably be the most effective route. Yeah, and Magenta was reflecting that Twitter DMs to projects and partners has worked well for her in the past, and especially because Giveth has a lot of social cred on Twitter. Cool.
Trying to think of other places that might be hubs of projects where you might get like one or two adopters. I mean, getting people to adopt a new platform is always a new hurdle. Doing this campaign again in 6 months or a year from now it's going to be a lot easier, and definitely should do it again. I think at some point in the future or like regularly. Yeah, there's a group called Thriving Resilient Communities Collaboratory that with projects that typically have a challenging time finding funding that might be good to post to. I wonder if even places like there's a grants organization called Pollination Project or Awesome Foundation, both of which give, I think, relatively small grants to grassroots projects. I don't know anyone who works at either of those places directly, unfortunately, but like those are a couple examples of where there's like hubs of projects that might be worth reaching out to and like trying to develop a relationship with over time. Like they might not say yes at first, but like after the 6th time you contact them in a year, maybe they'll be like,
Yeah, if you, I captured the ones you put in the chat, Permaculture Action Network and Anne Connolly of Trust Up. I didn't get exactly the names of the other two that you mentioned. If you could either ping those in the chat or in the comms call agenda here under Permaculture Action Network, maybe if you could just drop those in so that we can remember to find them on Twitter and reach out to them, that would be awesome. Cool, thank you. All right, any other ideas? I'm aware that we're at 1:59, so we're almost at the top of the hour. Graphic novel, cool. Okay, all right, let me see if I can just, yeah, so I'm just gonna quickly in 1 minute recap this other thing I had on the agenda for planning out campaign cycles. We talked about having like quarterly, adding in like a quarterly deeper dive meeting for the comms team where we can kind of have a retrospective and debrief on how like prior campaigns in that cycle have gone and like where are our wins, where are our challenges, and like use that to inform where we put our focus. And ultimately, if we get like budget money for extra communications things, like where we spend our dollars. And then we were talking about Magenta's contract with us and like proposal and stuff. And we talked about something that would be really beneficial, especially for project, as we're doing this project verification, like once projects are verified on Giveth, how can we give them like extra incentive to become verified and like extra perks and benefits. And one way to do that is through our partner network. So for example, with Bloom Network, we can amp up distribution and like spread the word more about verified projects on Giveth. through, similar to what our intention is with the Calling All Changemakers campaign, doing like a monthly roundup blog post promoting these different projects that have been verified in the last month on Giveth through the Bloom Network. And then just the question here, and I don't think we have time to discuss it, but I wanted to pose it and get especially Ashley's wheels spinning since she's on the call. What other partner networks could we tap into to offer like greater publicity and fundraising potential for our verified projects on Giveth? And like, how can we, what are some other cool things that we can offer as a part of our like expanded network? So yeah, I know Ashley, I'm super stoked about this new role that you've taken on, and kind of being the face to like interact with and make sure things are going well with our partners. And so this is just maybe something for us to kind of contemplate or reflect on, and maybe we can talk about it in our next comms call or in the channel on Discord if anyone has some good ideas.
Yeah, cool. That sounds good. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is like Panvala somehow, but yeah, I'll think about it and see what I can come up with.
Yeah, perfect. Before we drop, does anyone have any closing thoughts that they would like to speak into the space? Okay. Well, then that feels like a wrap. We have these meeting notes here. Awesome. I see that Magenda has dropped in quite a few recommendations of projects and partners that we can direct message on Twitter with links to their website. So it looks like we've got some good outreach. We can add these to that GitHub issue. And sign up for like who we're gonna PM, unless Lauren feels comfortable, like Lauren and Magenta, when you guys are working together this week, maybe making sure these guys all get DM'd on Twitter would be cool.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
Right. Perfect. Well, thanks everyone for a strategic call. Much appreciate all of your presence, and I hope that you have a very beautiful Friday.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.